Hi, this is Sarah McClellan with Pixels and Pills in New York City. We're at the ePharma Summit and I'm here with diabetes patient advocate and blogger Ann Bartlett. Can you give us a little bit about your background, how you got into writing your blog, and also your background being an advocate for diabetes?
Sure. I was diagnosed when I was 5 and basically lived most of my life without really advocating for diabetes or talking about it with anyone. And when I was 35, I had an experience where I was sick and I ended up in an emergency room for 3 days. And the doctors didn't want to see anything that was wrong with me other than diabetes, and I needed my gallbladder out. So after that, I really found my voice because I had to advocate for myself. I had to figure out how to really be cautious of being labeled something that, is a complicated situation, and not always were things going to be diabetes related. So, and it basically thrust me into the community locally, and through that local community, I ended up on healthcentral.com.
So how do you feel with everything that's changing within the pharma industry and making real connections to patients, the e-patient, empowered patient? How do you think you fit into really helping this change? Are you sort of at the forefront of this? Is your blog really something that's out there and a lot of people are connecting to? Do you look to other blogs to get help as well? And if so, which ones are you sort of logging onto?
It's a community. I mean, I think that you pull ideas by being involved in the community, and so the online community is equally as important as what I do locally.
Right.
I pull from everybody. So I could be on 2 Diabetes, I can be on other bigger sites, pulling information, as well as reading individuals like Six Until Me or Ginger Vieira. She's another type 1 diabetic, and so it's just it is really finding out what the pulse is in the community to figure out what angle isn't being covered or might be a commentary.
So you travel to a lot of these conferences sort of representing the patients and the consumers. How do you feel the relationship is changing between sort of the drug companies, between physicians, and getting this information to you in a new way?
Right. I think that it is at the beginning for pharma to really open up and to be able to have the conversation with the patients. But what I really am hopeful of is that we are on a course of something very interesting and very hopeful. Patients need to feel hope.
Right.
And pharma can't necessarily come right out and say that because of FDA concerns. So I think in talking to patients and in being involved with us, they can be creative. So, a great example of creativeness is there was a guy who was a chemical engineer at MIT, and he was talking to his cousin at a Thanksgiving dinner who was a type 1 diabetic, and he said, "Why isn't there a once-a-day injection that's polymer-based?" And so 3 months ago, Merck bought this little company called Smart Cells, Smart Insulin, and he is making this happen. And that's a conversation. That's the same thing that pharma can do for patients on so many levels.
So for people interested in checking out your blog, what is the site address and where can they reach you?
It would be healthcentral.com/Ann Bartlett.
Ann, thank you so much for speaking with us today. We really appreciate it. This is Sarah McClellan with Pixels and Pills in New York.